The year is 2242. My ship, the Odyssey, was a marvel of human engineering. It was designed to reach the farthest stars, to be a beacon of our curiosity. Now it is just a silent tomb, drifting aimlessly through the endless black. I am Commander Ava Rostova, and I am the only soul left aboard. The hum of the life support is my only companion, a constant low reminder of my profound isolation. Outside my viewport, the universe stretches on forever, a vast, silent canvas of distant lights and deep shadows. I float between constellations that no one on Earth has ever named, a tiny speck in a cosmic ocean that is both terrifying and magnificent. The silence out here is not empty. It is full of the weight of infinity, pressing in on me from all sides. It happened without warning, a catastrophic failure that felt like a betrayal by the very technology that was supposed to protect me. A micrometeorite storm, far denser than any we had predicted, tore through the ship's primary systems. One moment, I was monitoring the approach to Kepler 186f, dreaming of the new world we were about to explore. The next, alarms blared a symphony of disaster, and the ship was thrown into a violent, uncontrolled spin. We lost main power, communications, and navigation in a matter of seconds. I was the only one who made it to the secure cockpit before the rest of the ship depressurized. Now, the Odyssey drifts, a ghost ship carrying a lone survivor, far from any known star lane. The initial feeling was not fear, but a strange, hollow disbelief. I ran diagnostics for days, my fingers flying across dead control panels, hoping for a flicker of life, a single response from the ship's silent heart. There was nothing. The realization sank in slowly, like a cold tide rising in the small space of my cockpit. I was alone, truly and completely alone, adrift in a void so vast it defied comprehension. My voice, when I dared to speak, echoed back at me, a lonely sound in the metal shell that was now my entire world. The stars outside were no longer points of wonder, but cold, indifferent observers to my solitary fate. My days are now measured by the slow rotation of the ship. Sometimes, a distant sun fills my window with brilliant warm light, creating long shadows across the control panels. At other times, I am plunged into a profound darkness, where only the faint glow of a faraway galaxy provides any illumination. The routine is simple. Check the life support, ration my food supplies, and stare out at the endless expanse. It is a lonely existence, a quiet waiting game with no clear end. The hope of rescue faded weeks ago, replaced by a quiet acceptance of my situation. I am a castaway on the shores of an infinite sea, my only island, this small, broken piece of home. In the deep silence of space, my mind often wanders back to Earth. I see the world I left behind not as a distant blue marble, but in vivid, painful detail. I remember the feeling of fresh rain on my face during a spring shower in the Ural Mountains, the smell of pine trees sharp and clean in the air. I recall the warmth of my mother's kitchen, the scent of baking bread filling the small room as she hummed a familiar folk song. These memories are like ghosts, visiting me in the quiet moments, reminding me of a life that now feels like it belonged to someone else. They are both a comfort and a source of deep, aching sorrow. My daughter, Anya, is a constant presence in my thoughts. I see her small hand waving goodbye at the launch port, her bright eyes full of pride and a little bit of sadness. I remember reading her stories at night, her head resting on my shoulder as we traveled to magical lands through the pages of a book. I clutched the small, worn teddy bear she gave me for good luck, its button eyes seeming to watch me with a knowing sympathy. The thought that I will never see her grow up, never hear her laughter again, is a weight heavier than any gravitational pull. It is a wound that the silence of space cannot heal, a constant ache in my heart. The emotional struggle is a daily battle. Some days I am filled with a quiet resolve, a determination to survive, to honor the memory of my crew and my family. I meticulously log my observations, treat the cockpit as my home, and force myself to maintain a sense of purpose. On other days, the sheer scale of my loneliness is overwhelming. Despair creeps in like a cold fog, whispering that my existence is meaningless, that I am just a forgotten piece of dust in a careless universe. It is on those days that I have to fight the hardest, to find a reason to keep going when all hope seems lost. I play back the old video logs, the messages from my family sent before the accident. Their faces smile at me from the screen, their voices filling the cockpit with a warmth that feels almost real. "We're so proud of you, Eva," my father says, his voice thick with emotion. "Come back safe." Each word is a double-edged sword, a beautiful memory that also serves as a painful reminder of everything I have lost. I watch them over and over, letting their love wash over me, trying to draw strength from their faces. They are my connection to a world I can no longer touch, a lifeline across an impassable void. After weeks of drifting, something inside me began to shift. The initial shock and grief started to recede, not disappearing, but making space for something new. I began to truly see what was outside my window. Before, the stars were just data points, destinations on a map. Now, they were a spectacle of unimaginable beauty. I started to notice the subtle differences in their colors, some burning with a fierce blue-white intensity, others glowing with a soft golden warmth. I watched as my ship drifted past stellar nurseries, vast clouds of gas and dust where new suns were being born in a slow, silent explosion of creation. The universe was painting a masterpiece just for me, and I was the sole audience. One day, the Odyssey drifted into the heart of a nebula, a cosmic cloud of such breathtaking beauty that it made me gasp. It was a kaleidoscope of colors, deep purples, vibrant pinks and ethereal greens, swirling together in graceful cosmic dances. Wisps of glowing gas twisted into shapes that looked like celestial animals or giant ghostly flowers. For the first time in a long time, I felt something other than loss. I felt awe. I was floating through a dream, a place more beautiful than any artist on Earth could ever imagine. This newfound appreciation for my surroundings began to change my perspective. I was no longer just a prisoner in a broken ship. I was a witness. I had a front row seat to the greatest show in the cosmos. I started to document everything I saw, not as a scientist collecting data, but as an artist trying to capture the beauty. I described the way a distant galaxy spun like a pinwheel of light, its arms containing billions of stars. I marveled at the sight of two neutron stars orbiting each other, their immense gravity bending the light around them in a mesmerizing display. The beauty of space became my therapy. It gave me a reason to look forward to each rotation of the ship, to see what new wonder the universe would reveal. It was a constant reminder that even in the most desolate of places, there is profound beauty. The cosmos was not empty and cold. It was alive, dynamic, and incredibly creative. It was a place of birth and death on a scale that was hard to comprehend, but its artistry was undeniable. Watching it all unfold, I began to feel a sense of peace that had long eluded me, a quiet joy in the simple act of observation. As I continued to watch the universe unfold, a profound realization began to dawn on me. I was not separate from this incredible cosmic display. I was a part of it. The very atoms that made up my body, the carbon, the oxygen, the iron, were forged in the hearts of stars, like the ones I was now drifting past. I was made of stardust, just like the nebulae and the galaxies. The universe was not just something I was looking at. It was something I was connected to on the most fundamental level. The feeling of isolation began to dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of belonging. I was not lost. How can you be lost when you are part of everything? My ship was adrift, but my spirit was anchored to the cosmos itself. I was a tiny, conscious piece of the universe, given the incredible privilege of witnessing its own majesty. This thought did not make me feel small, it made me feel immense. My life was no longer defined by the mission I had failed or the home I had lost. It was defined by this incredible journey, this unique opportunity to see the universe in a way no human ever had before. I was a traveler, an explorer in the truest sense of the word. With this new perspective came a renewed sense of hope. It was not the hope of rescue, but the hope that comes from finding meaning in your existence. My life had purpose. My purpose was to see, to feel, to understand, and to bear witness to the beauty of it all. I began to send out a new message, not a distress call, but a message of discovery. I encoded my logs, my descriptions of the nebulae, and my feelings of awe into a beacon, launching it into the void. Perhaps someday another traveler would find it. Perhaps it would reach Earth centuries from now. I do not know what the future holds. My resources are finite, and my journey will eventually come to an end. But I am no longer afraid. I am part of a story that is billions of years old, a story of stars and galaxies, of creation and connection. My small life is a verse in that epic poem. I am Ava Rostova, and I am not lost. I am home, here among the stars, forever a part of the grand, beautiful and endless universe. And my spirit, like the light from the most distant star, will travel on,